Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Prem Roundup. It was another exciting weekend in the Premier League, and I am here to round up all of the action. Don't forget to leave a comment below on your thoughts on what I have to say and on the action around the league from this past weekend. To start, we head to the London Stadium for Manchester United versus West Ham. Now, before we get to the match, we actually have breaking news coming in right now as I am recording this video. Erik Ten Hag has been sacked as the manager of Manchester United. Ten Hag is the first manager to get the sack this season, and I don't think many of us were surprised that this happened. Manchester United currently sit 14th in the table with a -3 goal difference and 11 points through 9 games. It's their worst start to the Premier League season since, last season when they also weren't very good. The cyclical nature of Manchester United and their managers is the reason the club is stuck where it's at. I think a lot of this blame needs to fall on the players. They just are not good enough for a club of Manchester United's caliber. There needs to be a massive clean out at United. This is now another manager who's lost the dressing room, quote unquote, and has noteworthy publicized issues with players within the dressing room and has now been sacked. And this is not to say that Ten Hag is not at fault for this, as he has been tactically naive at times, and especially away from home, his teams have been awful. With all of the summer drama, I really don't know why Ten Hag even came back to Manchester United. It seemed very clear to me that the new board did not want Ten Hag. I would imagine Ruud van Nistelrooy will take over as caretaker manager and they can start planning for the future. As for the game, United lost 2-1 to West Ham and easily could have been up 1 or 2-0 themselves within the first 12 minutes of the match, but their lack of composure in front of goal cost them. They were dominant in the first half, just conceding 1 shot and 0.04 XG. But United missed 4 big chances of their own, and of their 8 shots, only 2 ended up on target. Simply not good enough on the players. When you are dominating an opponent like that, you need to capitalize and be able to finish your chances, and they paid for it in the second half. West Ham adjusted, they created 4 big chances of their own in the second half and got the opening goal in the 74th minute through Somerville. United quickly answered through a Casemiro header in the 81st minute, but then in the 86th minute, De Ligt, going for a second ball that came off the head of Lindelof, makes contact with Danny Ings inside the box, and VAR looks at it, and they call a penalty. I think De Ligt was very unlucky with the penalty. To me, it was very minimal contact and was not deserving of a penalty, but that was the decision that was given, and you have to live with that. And Jared Bowen slotted the penalty home to get all 3 points for West Ham. For West Ham, this is 2 wins in their last 3 matches and 7 points from their last 4. They're starting to string together some results and are starting to play better than they were at the start of the season. Over the next 6 games, they have matches against Forest, Everton, Leicester, and Wolves. All very winnable games for them, and they seem to be catching form at the right time. For Manchester United, we'll have to wait and see what we'll get from them now that Ten Hag's been sacked. How will the team change their style of play? Can they get the best out of this group of players and sort of make a run at trying to get back into those European spots? It's going to be hard for them to be able to do that right now, though, given where they are on the table and how the likes of Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, and Chelsea have started their seasons. It's simply not good enough from all of Manchester United, not just the manager. Moving on to our next game, we'll stay in London for a matchup of title favorites as Arsenal took on Liverpool. In a match that really lived up to the hype, Arsenal-Liverpool played to a 2-2 draw, and it felt like a game of 2 different halves, which is really standard for Arsenal this year. Arsenal opened the scoring early in the 9th minute through Bukayo Saka, an excellent ball from Ben White over the top, and Saka won his one-on-one matchup and had a wonderful finish to open the scoring. Arsenal very clearly missed Saka last weekend and during the week in the Champions League. His creativity has been carrying this team with Odegaard out, but he also serves as another outlet to get the ball out to other than Kai Havertz, and he's not afraid to just take a player on and push up the field. He was giving Andy Robertson problems all days until they switched him off for Tsimikas. Liverpool equalized about 10 minutes later through Virgil van Dijk. Luis Diaz flicked on a near post ball from a corner, and Van Dijk got on the end of it to make it 1-1. Really poor defending from Arsenal at the front post, but a perfectly placed ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Arsenal, I still thought, were the better team for much of the first half. Their pressing was giving Liverpool issues, and it felt like a lot of the first half was played in the Liverpool half. Declan Rice was superb at just cleaning up everything in the midfield. He was fantastic. Arsenal retook the lead in the 43rd minute from a Mikel Merino header, his first goal for the club. And what a ball from Declan Rice on the goal. Just another set piece from Arsenal where they're getting a goal. After Arsenal took the lead, though, they let off the gas and Liverpool sort of took control of the game, especially in the second half. Arsenal have done that a lot this year, and I've said it in the past, they've looked very poor in the second half in most of their games this season. Today, though, I think it was more due to the players that they were missing and the injury concerns of players that were on the pitch, particularly Bukayo Saka and Jurrien Timber, with it being their first matches back in a while. Not having the likes of Calafiori, Saliba, and Odegaard while also losing Gabriel during the match has really been showing in the second half of games. Liverpool eventually got their equalizer through Mo Salah, an excellent ball from Trent to play Darwin Núñez through, and he squared it to Mo Salah, who finished it with ease. The match ended level at 2-2 with Arsenal having a claim for a winning goal from Gabriel Jesus taken away by what I would say was a relatively soft foul call. I'll let you be the judge on that one though. Overall, I think it was a fair result. I thought Arsenal were better in the first half, and they deserved their lead, but Liverpool came out in the second half and adjusted and were definitely the better team. I think for Liverpool, it's a good result to get a point away from home, especially from one of your title rivals, and I thought Trent was excellent. Both the passes he played that led to the goals were incredible, and I thought defensively he was really good. It was clear that Arsenal were targeting him as Martinelli had a lot of the ball down that side, and he stood up to the test. For Arsenal, the injury situation just keeps getting worse. Their depth is really going to be tested in the next few weeks. But I got to give a shout out. Rice was incredible in the middle of the field, and Thomas Partey filling in at right back. Liverpool were clearly targeting him as well. Everything seemed to be going down to Luis Diaz, especially in the first half, and Partey passed it almost with flying colors, other than conceding the corner that eventually led to the goal. And with that, let's quickly move on to the rest of the action from around the Premier League. Leicester City 1, Nottingham Forest 3. A Chris Wood brace sees Forest continue their strong start to the season. They're in 7th place, they're 3 points ahead of Tottenham. It's been an incredibly impressive start to the season for Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 1. Villa dropped points late as Bournemouth continues to impress with a massive point away from home. That's 2 really big results from them. First, a win against Arsenal last week, and then 1 point against Villa at Villa Park is a really good result. Brentford 4, Ipswich 3, the highest scoring game of the weekend. Brentford continued to get it done and pick up results against teams that they should beat. They're up to 9th in the table, and I think personally, Ipswich has the best chance to stay up of the 3 promoted teams just because they're able to get the ball in the back of the net on some consistent basis. Brighton 2, Wolves 2. Brighton squander a 2-0 lead late to drop 2 points against Wolves as Danny Welbeck continues his fine form to start the season. Wolves, I think, are going to get this first win soon. They play Palace next weekend. I think it might come there. Manchester City 1, Southampton 0. I'm just surprised it wasn't more than 1. Everton 1, Fulham 1. Everton get a late goal to earn a point against a very good Fulham side who are currently 10th in the table. I think that's a big result for Everton. Chelsea 2, Newcastle 1. Chelsea get another big result and continue their push for making the top 4. Newcastle sort of hitting a dip in form. They're now winless in their last 5. And last but not least, Crystal Palace 1, Tottenham Hotspurs 0. A Mickey Van de Ven error leads to Crystal Palace beating a relatively toothless Tottenham for their first win of the season. And don't look at now, but Ange might be on the hot seat. And that will conclude our roundup of this past weekend of the Premier League. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and comment your thoughts below on this past weekend. Anything I had to say in this video, especially about Ten Hag being sacked. Was it the right call? Was it not? Until next time, have a good one.